It would appear that the first church on the parade was Vale Terrace Wesleyan Church, the camera being sited alongside the then Temperance Hall. The high-flying Sunday school banners of the next two churches make it difficult to identify them. The Primitive Methodist Sunday School, Lower James Street. One of the churches from Tredegar, followed by Mizpah Sunday School, a small church once located at the bottom of Bridge Street. This was one of the so-called ragged schools founded by John Pounds, a crippled cobbler of Portsmouth. Regrettably, at this point, the film begins to break down. The emulsion on the original 35mm film proved to be tacky and lifted away from the film base. It was in the summer of 1918 that King George V and Queen Mary celebrated their silver wedding. And now, the approach of the Salvation Army Sunday School. It is interesting to note that in the late 1930s and the early 1940s, this film in its entirety was screened at the Olympia Cinema over the Whitsun period. This was the age of the hand-cranked camera. Consequently, the camera generally remained in a fixed position, and very little panning was practiced. Picton Street Sunday School returning from the park. Amongst the leaders may be seen the Reverend Alfred Barrett and Mr. George Price. An English Wesleyan chapel, but which one? another Sunday school returning from the park. The scene now changes to the bandstand at Bedwellty Park. As well as the tennis courts alongside the main shelter, note the Chilean pine or monkey puzzle tree, which today is a colossus in comparison with its former self. Here we see former Sunday school walkers and spectators resting on the circular bench which was once near the bottom gates of the park. Now the camera is sighted outside the Olympia Cinema after the Whitsun parade. The policeman on the extreme left of the screen was Board the Bobby.